The pink elephant is still in the corner of the nursery. It's the only thing I let myself buy. Daniel said, "Get it, just in case." So I did, because deep down, I believed this time was different. I was going to surprise him when he got back from his trip. A tiny purple sweater, a handwritten card that said, "It's happening, she's real." But now, the sweater's still in my drawer, and the elephant just sits there. We tried for 5 years. 5 years of doctor visits, blood draws, hormone shots, and bruised hips. 5 years of pretending I was happy when everyone else got what I prayed for. I stopped going to baby showers, stopped walking past the infant section at the store. Some people dream in color. I dreamed in test results. Daniel said he was okay with it, said we didn't need kids to be happy, that he loved me no matter what. But then, the little things started to change. He stopped holding my hand at appointments. He sat in silence during the drives home. He started working late. Always just a little too late. I told myself it was stress, that he just didn't want to see me hurt anymore. But I think a part of me knew. Her name is Celia, young, confident, the kind of woman who never doubts the way a room turns when she walks in. She worked at his firm. I met her once, briefly, at a holiday dinner. She wore red lipstick and a designer coat I recognized from Vogue. She told me I was so down to earth, like it was a compliment. "You're brave to wear lavender," she said. "Most women with curves stick to black." I laughed. I always laugh when I don't know what else to do. I didn't know she was sleeping with my husband. Didn't know she was planning something much worse. Quick favor before we move on. Over 90% of people watching right now haven't subscribed yet. If you're enjoying this story, tap that like button and hit subscribe. It's completely free, and it helps this channel reach more amazing listeners like you. Already subscribed? You're the best. Thank you so much. Now, let's get back to it. Right before he left for his business trip, Daniel handed me a box with a gold candle inside. "Sandalwood," he said. "Smells like me. Light it every night. It'll help you sleep." And I believed him. Because I always believed him. I didn't know Celia gave it to him. Didn't know she'd picked the scent herself. Didn't know what she'd hidden in the wax. I just thought she was trying to be nice. The first night I lit it, the scent wrapped around me like memory. I sat on the edge of the bed, holding the sweater I'd started knitting. I imagined telling him, imagined his eyes lighting up, imagined a future that finally felt possible. But by midnight I was curled on the bathroom floor, sweating, trembling, my stomach twisting in knots. And all I could think was, please let this be morning sickness. It wasn't. It was the beginning of the end. It started small. The first time I mentioned Celia, Daniel flinched, just for a second. I'd seen her name pop up on his phone, a message preview. "Did you tell her yet?" I pretended not to see it. Later, I asked, "Hey, who's Celia?" He blinked like I'd caught him stealing, then smiled. "Oh, she's just on the creative team, total workaholic. You'd like her, super positive, talks too much." I nodded. Let it go. Because what was I going to do? Accuse him of something I couldn't even name? And I wanted to believe him. I wanted to believe I wasn't losing him too. Then there were the little hints, the ones that don't seem like much until you line them up like broken teeth. His mom started calling less. When she did, it was all clipped sentences and barely concealed irritation. "Still no baby, huh? Well, it's not like you're getting any younger, Evelyn." "Daniel has so much on his plate, poor thing. I just don't want him to carry it alone forever." I'd try to change the subject. Ask how her bridge club was going. She'd sigh. "It's just this whole waiting thing. It's wearing on him, on all of us." All of us. Like my body's failure was some community burden. I started to feel it everywhere. The family dinners that got shorter. The birthday gift I never got. The way Celia's name started appearing in Daniel's stories more and more. Celia had this great pitch. Celia always remembers my coffee order. Celia sent this hilarious meme. Remind me to show you. She was seeping into our life, and I was the only one who didn't seem to belong anymore. I told myself I was overthinking, that I was hormonal, emotional, sensitive, because that's what Daniel said when I finally asked, "Do you like her?" He laughed, a little too hard. "Oh my God, Evelyn, are we doing this? Really? I go on one trip and now you're jealous of Celia?" I felt myself shrink. I didn't mean it like that, She's a coworker, nothing more. Then he kissed my forehead and walked out of the room. And just like that, I was the crazy one, the insecure wife, the overthinker. The day before he left, I came home to find a white box with a gold ribbon on the kitchen counter. Daniel came up behind me, kissed my cheek. "Open it." Inside was a gold glass candle in a heavy custom jar. The scent hit me before I could read the label. Sandalwood, cinnamon, a trace of bergamot. "It smells like you," I said, surprised. "That's the idea," he smiled. "Light it while I'm gone, every night, so it'll feel like I'm still here." I blinked back tears. "Thank you, it's beautiful." He nodded but didn't meet my eyes. "Celia actually helped me pick it out. She said it's a comforting scent." I paused. The name stung, but I forced a smile. "That was thoughtful of her." He nodded again. "She knows how stressed we've been." I swallowed the sour taste in my throat. I didn't know it then, but she didn't want me comforted. She wanted me gone. The candle burns lower every night. I don't know why I keep lighting it. Maybe because it smells like him. Maybe because I want to believe this distance is temporary. That when he comes home, things will be okay again. That's the lie I feed myself, like broth through a straw. On night 2, I wake up gasping. My heart is pounding. My chest feels tight, like someone's standing on it. I shuffle to the bathroom. I splash water on my face. My stomach twists again. I throw up bile. Nothing else, just acid and air. I sit on the cold floor and whisper to no one, "Please, God, let this be the baby. I'm dizzy." But a part of me, some delusional, desperate part, feels hope. Maybe it's morning sickness. Maybe this is what early pregnancy feels like. Maybe it's finally happening. I want to believe that so badly it hurts. It physically hurts. I take out the little test kit I've hidden in the bathroom drawer. It's past midnight, but I don't care. I sit. I wait. I hold my breath. And then, 2 lines, 2 faint pink lines. My hands start shaking. I blink at the test like I don't believe it. Like if I look away, it'll disappear. I'm pregnant. Oh my God, I'm pregnant. Tears rush to my eyes. My breath catches. I cover my mouth with both hands. I want to scream, to laugh, to call him, to tell him we're finally going to be parents, but he's not answering his phone. Still, I leave him a voicemail anyway. "Daniel," I whisper, trying to hold back my tears. I have something to tell you. Call me back, okay? Please, I think it's finally happened." I hang up and clutch the phone to my chest. Then I light the candle. Again. Because I want him to feel close when he hears the news. Because I still don't know it's killing me. Night 3. I can't stand up straight. The nausea is worse. It's not just morning, it's all day. My skin is cold and wet. My hands shake when I try to text him again. "Daniel, please call me. I think something's wrong." No reply. I call his hotel. They say he hasn't checked in under his name. I try Celia again. She doesn't answer this time. The silence is starting to feel intentional, sharp, weaponized. By evening, I can barely walk. I try to eat toast. I throw it up. My heart races just from brushing my teeth. My eyes sting, my chest tightens. I know something is wrong, but I'm afraid to say it out loud, because if I name it, it becomes real. And I'm not ready for something to go wrong again. Not this time. Not when I finally have what I prayed for. I light the candle again. I don't even know why. Maybe I'm hoping it'll calm me. Maybe I just want to believe he still cares, that he meant what he said. It'll smell like me. You won't feel alone. But I do feel alone. So alone it's starting to feel like I've been buried alive. I wake up the next morning with the phone still in my hand. The pregnancy test lies next to it. The lines are still there, still real. I try Daniel again. Voicemail, again. My chest aches in a different way now. Not hope, not heartbreak. This feels like fear. Deep, crawling fear. I call the nurse hotline. I describe the symptoms. She asks if I've eaten. I say no. She asks if I've had exposure to toxins or chemicals. No, I whisper. Then I glance at the candle, still warm, still burning. She tells me to come in. But I don't make it that far. It's night 4. I try to shower, but the steam makes me nauseous. I sit on the floor, lightheaded, heart slamming in my chest like a drum. I crawl to the bedroom. My arms feel like cement. I grab the phone. My vision is blurry. My fingers slip. I dial 911. My voice is a whisper. Please, help. I'm pregnant and I think I've been poisoned. And then everything fades. The phone drops to the floor. The last thing I hear is the siren. Somewhere in the distance. And then, nothing. I wake up to beeping, bright lights, a sharp smell of antiseptic. I try to move. I can't. My body feels distant. My limbs, unfamiliar. I blink. There's something taped to my face. An oxygen line. My arm is hooked to tubes. There's a nurse adjusting the IV. She notices my eyes, smiles gently. You're safe, she says softly. You're in the hospital. We've been watching over you. I want to speak. I want to ask. But all I can whisper is, my baby? She doesn't answer right away. She looks down. And that's when I know. I close my eyes. And I wish I never opened them again. Because knowing you were finally carrying life, and losing it before you could even say the words out loud, it's like being unmade from the inside. Later I hear voices, faint, muffled, a man sobbing, soft apologies, the sound of footsteps pacing back and forth, over and over and over again. I know it's Daniel, and I know it's too late. They tell me the candle was tested. Toxicology found compounds in the wax, not just essential oils, poison, small doses designed to act slowly, mask symptoms, trigger reactions in early pregnancy. I don't speak. I just stare at the ceiling and let the truth drip into me like cold water. Then the detective comes. She sits beside me, gentle, firm. She asks about the candle, where it came from, who gave it to me. I tell her everything, and I watch her eyes narrow at one name, Celia. They test the jar. Her fingerprints are on the inside. She'd pressed the wick in with her bare hands. They find the order in her online records. She purchased the chemical compound 6 months ago. When confronted, she breaks. I just wanted her out of the picture. I didn't think it would go that far. He said he loved her, but I knew he'd leave eventually. She didn't know I was pregnant, didn't expect it, didn't plan for that. And Daniel, he's shattered. He sits beside my hospital bed every day, whispering apologies to someone who doesn't answer. He brings roses. He reads me the baby book I never got to finish. He cries over the ultrasound photo they found in my drawer. And all I can think is, she was going to be real. I was going to name her Hope. Because after everything, I thought we were finally safe. And now, I don't even know if I'm still alive. The candle is in an evidence bag now. They keep it sealed, labeled, catalogued. Sometimes I catch Daniel staring at it like it might apologize. It won't. It never will. A week passes before I learn the full truth. Not from Daniel. Not from the nurses. From the detective. She comes into my room with a folder in her hands and sorrow in her voice. She pulls up a chair like she's about to tell me someone died. Someone did. They tested the candle's wax, traced it to a synthetic chemical compound called delromexaline, a slow-release toxin banned in most countries, invisible, odorless when heated, but deadly in small, repeated doses, especially during pregnancy. My stomach turns as she says it, because I remember every night I lit that thing with hope in my heart. Every breath I took thinking I was safe, thinking I was loved. I was being poisoned by the person my husband kissed on the same nights he ignored my calls. Celia left behind everything: digital fingerprints, order receipts, shipment details. She bought the poison herself, from a private chemical seller overseas. When confronted, she cracked in under 20 minutes. No lawyers, no tears, just rage. I didn't mean to kill anyone. She was always in the way, just hovering around, fragile and boring. I thought if she got sick enough, he'd leave her. Finally, I stare at the ceiling as the detective reads this aloud. My pulse pounds in my ears. I feel nothing, then too much. She wanted me gone. Not because she loved him, but because I existed. Because I was soft. Because I stayed. They arrested her that night. Second-degree attempted murder, fetal homicide, premeditated poisoning. Her mugshot is everywhere by morning. Smudged makeup, dead eyes, no hint of the fake warmth she used to wear like lip gloss. Daniel sees the photo and crumbles. He cries so hard I think he'll split in half. He keeps saying the same thing over and over. I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't know. But ignorance is not innocence. He gave me that candle with his own hands, and while I begged for his attention, he was with her, letting her guide his gestures like strings on a marionette. He let the woman he was cheating with poison his wife, and he thanked her for it. They show me the ultrasound photo they found in my drawer, the one tucked inside a card with block letters that said, "It's happening. She's real. I can't look at it for long. My vision blurs. They tell me the baby was a girl." I nod. I already knew. Somewhere deep inside, I'd known all along. I was going to name her Hope, because I thought that's what we finally had. Because after 5 years of trying, I believed this time we were okay. But hope isn't always enough. Sometimes hope blinds you. Sometimes it burns like a candle you should have never lit. Daniel brings flowers every day, white lilies, pink carnations. He leaves notes on the table by my bed. I never open them. He reads me the baby book, page by page, like it'll fix anything. He holds the sweater I never got to give him, the tiny purple one I was knitting. He presses it to his face when he thinks I'm asleep. But I'm never really asleep. I just keep my eyes shut, because it's easier than seeing him. Eventually I ask to speak. My voice is hoarse, but my words are clear. I look at him and say, "She was going to be named Hope, because I thought we were finally safe again." Then I turn away, and I don't look back. A week later I'm discharged. They wheel me out into the sunlight. My arms are empty. Daniel is waiting by the curb with the car. I don't get in. I call a cab. He follows, frantic. "Evie, please, let me explain." I stop him. "You knew something was off. You felt it. You ignored it. You lit the match. Maybe you didn't pour the fuel, but you stood there and watched it burn." He breaks again. But I don't. I don't scream. I don't hit him. I just leave. And for the first time in weeks, I breathe without choking. The media picks up the story. They call me the miracle wife, the survivor mom. I don't care. I don't feel like a miracle. I feel like a woman who survived the worst betrayal of her life, and still had to learn how to walk again. They sentenced Celia. 12 years, no parole. Daniel never presses charges. He says, "I don't need to, I lost enough." But what he lost wasn't stolen. He gave it away. I don't scream. I don't break things. I don't need to. My absence is the loudest thing in the room now. The day I leave, I pack my things in silence. The baby sweater, the unopened notes, the candle, still sealed in its evidence bag, which I hand to the detective myself. Daniel watches from the hallway, a shell of the man I once trusted. He opens his mouth to speak, then closes it again. Good. There's nothing left to say. I move into a small rental by the coast. It smells like salt and paint. There are no photos on the walls yet, just a single potted plant and a notebook on the table. I start drawing again. Not because it fixes anything, but because it helps me remember what my hands can do besides hold grief. News spreads, people talk, they say I'm brave, that I survived, that I walked away with my head high. What they don't see is that walking away wasn't strength, it was necessity. It was either leave or be buried next to the future that Candle stole. Celia's trial goes public. Every headline splashes her face across the internet. Her glossy influencer photos side by side with her mugshot. The same hands that stirred poison now cuffed in court. They read her confession aloud. "I didn't mean to kill the baby. I didn't even think she could get pregnant. I just wanted her gone. She didn't fit with him. She didn't match." The crowd murmurs. The jury stares. And Daniel? He doesn't show up in court, too cowardly. Or maybe just finally drowning in what he let happen. I show up. I wear a plain gray dress, no makeup, no jewelry, just the necklace I made with the ultrasound photo folded into a locket the size of a thumbprint. She sees me from across the courtroom. She flinches. Good. When they ask if I want to speak, I nod once. I don't read from paper. I just say the truth. I lit that candle every night thinking it was love. I didn't know it was death. I carried a child I never got to meet because someone thought my softness was a threat. I hope you never forget what it feels like to be powerless, because I will never let anyone take my power again. When I sit back down, the room is silent. Even the judge is blinking too fast. That's the thing about quiet women. They only have to speak once. The sentence comes down hard. 12 years, federal time, no possibility of early release. Celia screams as they take her away. She tries to look at me. I don't look back. She wanted to be unforgettable. Now she is. Just not the way she planned. As for Daniel, he's not the same. People whisper when he walks into rooms. He's the man who brought poison home, who ignored the voicemails, who chose a mistress over a heartbeat. His company lets him go, not for scandal, officially. Just a quiet HR memo. Brand trust concerns, leadership disruption. His friends stop inviting him to dinners. His mother doesn't speak to him anymore. Not because she's mad at him, but because she can't spin this. No one can. There's no way to twist the truth into a lie clean enough to swallow. He tells people he lost everything in 1 year. But that's not true. He gave it away. A year later, I launch a small art studio. Children come after school to paint and sculpt and breathe. I hang their messy, beautiful work along the walls. I frame nothing. Everything stays wild and imperfect and alive, just like it should. I don't talk about what happened, not at first. But sometimes, a mother lingers after class. She looks at me a little too long, asks if I believe people can truly change. I never answer, not directly. But I always say, sometimes change doesn't mean healing. It just means moving. And that's enough. Daniel sends letters. He doesn't know where I live, but he tries. One ends up at the studio, forwarded from a P.O. box I'd forgotten I used. It's short. She would have been 2 today. I bought the elephant a birthday cupcake. I'm sorry. I burn the letter. I keep the ashes in a jar. Because I want to remember what guilt looks like when it tries to dress itself in romance. People always think revenge means fire, destruction, but sometimes revenge is just not needing them anymore, not needing answers, not needing closure, not needing to explain why you left. Sometimes revenge is living in peace so complete it scares them. I don't forgive him. Not because I'm bitter, but because some things are just final. You don't forgive the hand that struck the match when it watched your house burn down. Even if it cries afterward. Even if it says, I didn't know the wind would catch. He knew. On some level, he knew. And he let her hand me a candle. And I lit it. Because I trusted him. Because I was in love. And now I am not. And that is power. I hear he moved. That he lives alone now. Still sends flowers on what would have been her birthday. Still can't look at sandalwood without breaking. I don't feel sorry for him. Not really. Regret is his prison. And it has no walls I need to tear down. I light candles still. Different ones. Lavender, lemon, soft pine. None of them remind me of him. I light them for the girl I used to be. For the woman I became. For the child I didn't get to hold. And when the flame dances in the glass, I don't flinch. I watch it. Because this time, the fire is mine. And it doesn't burn me. It lights the way forward. I moved to a town where no one knew my name. No one asked about the trial. No one whispered about the candle. No one looked at me like I was fragile. I opened an art studio next to a bakery. Children came to paint with sticky fingers and wild imaginations. They didn't care that I had scars, only that I gave them glitter and space to be messy. It was enough. I was enough. 2 years passed like a tide. Quiet, steady, washing over the wreckage without erasing it. And then, one summer morning, I met someone. He didn't ask about my past. He just brought coffee to my porch and asked what color the sky felt like that day. He didn't try to save me. He just stood beside me while I rebuilt myself. We married in a small ceremony on a cliffside. No flowers, just wind. And the sea below whispering things I no longer feared. When our daughter was born, I held her close and whispered her name, Grace. Because that's what carried me through the fire. Not rage, not revenge. Grace. The quiet kind. The kind that chooses peace when it would be easier to hate. The kind that lets you begin again, not because they deserved your forgiveness, but because you did. Every year on Hope's birthday, I plant a flower. Just one. And I write her name in the dirt with my finger. Not to mourn, but to remember. Because love, even when stolen, still mattered. She was real, she existed, and she made me who I am now. Daniel never remarried. He still sends flowers to an address I'll never confirm. Still keeps the sweater in a drawer. Still lights a candle, but not for comfort. To remember what he lost, and what he'll never get back. People ask me how I moved on. I tell them the truth. You don't always need to fight fire with fire. Sometimes you just need to walk out of the burning house and never look back. Hope was the name I gave the life I lost. Grace was the name I gave the life I rebuilt. And me? I'm just a woman who learned that true strength is knowing when to rise and when to leave everything behind. The past didn't define me. The betrayal didn't break me. I survived. And I lit a new flame, one that no one else could blow out.